So this morning, this week actually, we're going to work through the vegetables, fruits, eggs, and farinaceous unit. Now the word farinaceous is probably a bit strange to some of you. It basically means with flour or contains rice or starch. Okay, so some of those starchy, ricey type dishes that we have on our menus will come under that heading farinaceous. Okay. Now this morning we're going to start with very simple, and we're going to do an omelette. Okay. It's an omelette fin herb in the French term, or omelette with mixed herbs. Omelettes come in a few different types. We can have like a flat omelette, you can have a folded omelette, you can have it's like a Spanish omelette, like a tortilla, with potato and so on in it. It's very versatile. It's very handy now. In Perth we've got an exploding sort of breakfast culture going on. So as a chef going out into cafes, it's important that you know how to cook eggs and to cook them properly, okay? Now they're a great source of protein, okay? They're also very reasonably priced. So for a cafe or for at home, they really are pretty good, okay? So very simple what we're going to do. I'm going to use a non-stick pan. Now traditionally we would use a cast iron pan, and we would do what's called cure it. And that's to take the impurities out of the pan using salt and heating it slowly. But nowadays, most people have a non-stick pan, and it makes life a lot easier. So that's what we're going to use today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to separate 3 eggs. Now ideally, if you can have your eggs out of the fridge maybe an hour or so before you need them. Okay, it just takes that chill out of them. I'll need to separate them. Now, if you get some egg shell in there, just get the other shell and just scoop it out and you'll get it out. Now some people like to put cream or butter or whatever in there, or milk to extend it. You can do that, but I think just go with straightforward eggs. It just gives a nicer product, okay? So you just lightly mix that. Now the thing with an omelette, the important thing is that we don't overcook it, okay? We cook it to what's called, French term, bavousse, okay? That means just cooked and still a little bit liquidy, okay? That's what we're looking for, very, very important. So we're going to add some seasoning into our egg, not too much. Now I've already chopped my herbs. In here I've got some parsley, some basil and some oregano. You can choose whatever you wish, whatever you might have grown in the garden, or whatever way you want to do it, okay? Just make sure that they're nice and fresh. Now, I've got some butter. Put that in the pan. Nice bit of butter. Get that really nice oil, the tiniest amount of vegetable oil. But the key is that we do it on a low heat. We don't want to have that too hot. We're going to get too much colour on our egg, and also if it goes too far it can get a bit chewy, okay? So we're looking for, remember that bavousse, we're looking for that just sort of slightly soft texture. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to pop my plate in the oven just to warm it up. Okay, so you can see that butter melting and starting to froth. Possibly got a little bit much butter there. I might just take that out.
You never have too much butter, Cormack.
Well, that's can't you tell? Okay, so I've got my eggs mixed, seasoned, and my herbs are in. I'm just going to add it in now to the pan. So we just slightly move that around. So mixing the butter into it. So you'll see that egg starting to coagulate, okay, starting to cook. You just move it slightly. Just away from the edges. So you can see it starting to form. Now as I say, you could have fried off a garnish in there. So you could have tossed off maybe some crispy bacon or some some cherry tomato and spinach perhaps, or some mushrooms for a mushroom omelette. So you would sweat that off first and then add your egg in on top, and you would have all your garnish, if you like, through the egg, okay? Or alternatively, you could sweat that off separately, and then when you get this sort of set, you could then add in your garnish and then fold it over. And you could maybe possibly put some cheese on it and glaze it over the salamander if you wish to do that. So if you have a look there now, that's all starting to come together, okay? So you just, with your fork, very gently moving it from the side, okay?
Are you going to do the fold over omelette here, Cormack?
We're just going to fold, I'm going to simply fold this over and then brush it with a little bit of melted butter, and that's all we're going to do, okay? So as you can see now, that's just, and if you get a few gaps, don't worry about that, because the egg will find its level.
An omelette's a bit of a dish actually that when you go into the industry, you'll actually be asked to make an omelette sometimes when you go in to do a trial, because it's one of those dishes that you either get very right
or very wrong.
So there's actually a lot of skill in making an omelette.
You're dead right, and it is, and it's understanding. It's pure protein, so it can go rubbery very quickly, or it can go, you know, slightly burnt around the edges. So it's about controlling that heat. It's very important. Okay. So as you can see there now, it's just starting to sort of wobble. You can see it's moving in the pan.
Come in on that a bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So remember that word. You're going to hear me saying it a lot throughout the lesson, throughout this unit. It's called bavous. Okay. It's a French word, and it means just cooked, a little bit liquidy. Okay. So what we're looking for here is a nice velvety, silky sort of a texture. Okay. Now omelette is a simple dish, but there is a certain amount of skill required. Now I've got my warm plate. Okay, so you can see it just starting to move, and you can see there's still a little bit of...
I'll just zoom in a bit on that, Cormack.
Yeah.
Just have a look. Yep.
There's still a little bit of rawness there, so I'm happy enough with that at the moment. I'm just going to let that just tip along a bit more. Now some people, you know, especially at home, if they're making it on a Sunday morning for the kids, you could put some cheese on that and put it with a salamander and let it puff up. Okay, there's lots of things you can do with it. It's a very personalised dish, but the important thing is that you don't overcook it. Okay.
I've even noticed in kitchens working through Perth that everyone has their own method of doing.
Correct.
an omelette. There's like a zillion different ways of doing it.
That's right.
This is the perfect. This is looking perfect to me.
This is, just like I say, it's just. See it moving nicely. You can see the steam starting to come out, so the heat is underneath it. All right. Very, very close. Very, very nearly there. Just keep it moving.
So that key really is it's not too hot.
That's exactly right.
Just setting that egg, aren't you?
Controlling that heat. Now, nowadays with modern conduction cooktops and so on and that, you can really control your heat, very just sliding on and sliding off. This with gas, again, is an easier way of doing it. Electric is a bit more difficult, but remember, you just take the pan off and put it back on, okay? Now, have you looked there? It's just about there now. You can still see that little bit of...
I'll just come in on that a bit.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
so now what
good.
I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to fold it. So you just take it from the sides, okay?
Beautiful.
Now, as you can see, it's got a very, very slight bit of colour on it. Technically, probably could be a little bit lighter, okay? But it's cooked perfect, all right? And then all I do is take my plate and pop it on. Now, it's already got a little bit of butter on it. I'm just going to brush it a little bit more. Just get that nice shine. All right? And there it is. Now, what I want you to look at here is you can see the slightly runniness throughout the egg. Just put it there for you. Okay?
Yeah.
See all that?
It's actually very nicely cooked. Cormack looks good.
Now, again, it could be, it's a slight little bit of brown on that, but sometimes I think people like to see that because otherwise they've got in their mind of a raw product. It's not raw, it's bavous. It's just under, still a bit liquidy, but lovely and silky and beautiful to eat. Thank you.